I think we're just going to jump to something super important. Mayor Halliday, are you here?
Yes, I am.
This is the mayor of Hayward, and she'd like to make a presentation to Bill.
You know, it talks about how Bill Owens has many achievements to his credit in his life, and among them are, as we all know now, photographer, photojournalist, brewer, distiller, and publisher. Now, I've got, you know, photography and writing are professions where that people who are in those professions often have other jobs that they do, but I bet being a brewer is not a common one that writers and photographers have. So you are truly unique. Whereas, this has a lot of whereases, as you can imagine, a recipient of a Guggenheim Fellowship and 2 NEA grants for his photography, Bill is best known for his work Suburbia, which I do know about, considered one of the top 100 seminal photographic books of the 20th century. Wow. 7 monograms of his photographic work have been released by various publishers. His photographic work is collected by many museums internationally. And whereas in 1983, this is the part I know more about, Owens founded Buffalo Bill's Brewery in Hayward, California. I'll be happy to have you on B Street. The first brew pub in California since Prohibition. And that's an interesting history too, which I don't think we get into here, but you know, that why it was the first. In 1992, he wrote How to Build a Small Brewery, which sold 30,000 copies. He later founded Beer and American Brewer, which he published for 14 years, reaching a circulation of 7,000. He was commissioned by the Hayward Historical Society to produce a body of photographs for the new millennium titled Hayward, New Suburbia. And whereas in 2003, Bill founded the American Distilling Institute, which promotes the art and craft of distilling. Attendance at its annual conference has grown exponentially from 86 attendees the first year to over 1,200 at this year's 11th anniversary conference. Boy, that's a lot of beer.
And that's 1,200 paid.
Okay, well, and that's really an achievement.
And beer's a lot better nowadays. Yes. Whiskey.
That's coming, I think. But he has been responsible for creating a vibrant community of distillers and vendors who are all contributing to the recent boom in the craft distilling movement. American Distilling Institute's Distiller Magazine is a quarterly with a press run of 7,200, and it produces an annual resource guide and directory of craft distillers and suppliers to the industry. The book publishing arm of the American Distilling Institute, White Mule Press, has 20 titles in its library that cover technique, history, and appreciation of craft distilled spirits. And whereas for his dedication to educating and inspiring young brewers and distillers while being an innovator in the craft distilling industry.
You gotta look up.
Okay. And in 2013, he received a Lifetime Achievement Award in craft distilling at the International Craft Brewing and Distilling Convention in where else but Dublin, Ireland. Not California, Dublin, Ireland. Yes, that would be where that. So therefore, I, Barbara Halliday, the mayor of the city Hayward, and I know on behalf of my entire city council, do hereby commend Bill Owens for his outstanding contribution and longtime service to the community. And I hereby offer to him, on behalf of our entire city, and actually a lot of people outside our city too, who are big fans of Buffalo Bills, this certificate of public recognition. And I extend to you our deep appreciation for your distinguished service and best wishes for continued success in the future. So here you go.
Try not to lose it. Do I have to say something?
Yes. Speech.
Let's see, I've been in town. Oh, you wonder why I opened Buffalo Bills? Because I looked for a location. I went to Walnut Creek, and the rents were too expensive, and I came here and I could rent the old Bowman's camera store, which is ironic. I turned a camera store into a brewery, and I could rent the building for $1 a square feet. So the rent was $2,000 a month. I did a limited partnership, raised $92,000 and opened Buffalo Bills. So that's why I'm here, and I've been here ever since. I'm up on Kelly Hill, just past Vowels. Thank you very much for coming out.
We have something else for Tim Dominic.
Wait, I can get up.
This is Pulitzer Prize winning. Shy about that, but I'm happy to say it. And a great friend of ours. And he is working on a documentary about Bill Owens, and he can tell us about it.
Thank you, Garrett. Thank you, Kate. Congratulations there, Bill.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you a little bit of history here. I know you're dying to stand in the room all by in the group here all by you for hours at a time, so I'm going to try to make this short. I was Bill's student when I was 20 years old, and I was 19 and you were 40. At San Jose State back in 1977. I was one of the first classes I ever took at the university level, and Bill had just published Suburbia. He was working on the leisure book at that point, and he was trying to help us all. I mean, even at that stage, you'll notice every step of the way, Bill has written a book to help people move on with their careers. He helped the documentary photographers publish their books. With the Beer News and the beer publications, it was just a community for the people who do brewing. And then now with the Distilling Institute, he's created a community that thousands of people belong to. So that's something that can go kind of unappreciated, I think, is the fact that he's got our back, which I think is just an amazing thing. Now what I'd like you to have a look at today is a little, just basically a reel of clips I've put together. We've been working on a film for about a month now on Bill and his many facets and all of the things he's accomplished with his camera and with his writing and publishing and all of the many things he's done. And it's a daunting task. So for the purposes of making fitting in the right place, I think, of this event and with this exhibition, we sat down in the kitchen last week and we talked a little bit about photography and Bill's role in photography and his influences and how his work is continuing to inspire generations of photographers. So what you'll see today is just a little bunch of clips. There's no music. It's not quite there yet, but it's what we've been working on. We're calling it Suburban Legend, which is kind of a play on the bad, huh? Sorry.
That's not a legend till you're dead.
But one thing,
I don't want to get there.
But one thing, I remember the curator at the Museum of Modern Art in New York talked about Walker Evans, the great documentary photographer. And he said that Evans photographed things the way they would be remembered. I mean, Bill is, in all of his work, has all of these books, he has captured generations we live in for generations to come. And with a sense of humor, with a sense of irony, and I just think he rightly deserves to be among the 100 or even fewer photographers we will always remember. Living. All right. Let's have a look.
Still. The rest of this stuff is brewing equipment from when I was a home brewer. Before I built Buffalo Bill's Brewery, Brew Pub on the Green, and the Bison. So I built breweries and distilleries both.
So this is where it all started.
I started with this here, Budweiser keg for a brewing kettle. I like the fact that the building leans. It gives it a little patina, right? Life is perfect. I like the building just kind of falling into the creek. Wait, my phone's on. Oh, God.
Press 3. Are you still there? Because we've all done it.
Oh, okay. Because it's my birthday, I had to buy a big wheels, and it's not easy to find. It took us 2 months to find this on eBay. Somebody wanted $2,000 for it. Oh, and I paid $195 for this one. It's the real thing. You go out to suburbia and you drive around, you don't see anything. You just see a house, a little lawn, and a tree. And you say to yourself, oh my God, this is boring. People in suburbia are boring. But you remember, I was working for a small town newspaper. I knocked on the front door. I'd been to those people's homes before. Probably in my lifetime, I've been in 300 or 400 homes in Livermore, Dublin, and Pleasanton, photographing for the newspaper. And sometimes I'd walk in, I say, oh my God, this is perfect. Yeah, there it is, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. The wedding pictures, California the Beautiful. Pull out my big camera, walk up front and go pow, pow, make my shots and sit down, and nobody pays attention because I'm one of them.
For being here. There's a lot to see, a lot of food to eat, and should we do it now? Yeah. We have also 1, 2, 3, happy birthday, Bill. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bill. Happy birthday to you. Now, guys, Bill is going to do something very unusual for his 80th birthday. He leaves on 23rd? 24th?
Of what?
September.
Yeah.
He's going around the world for 2 months for his 80th birthday. Around the world in 60 days. So, bon voyage, a little prematurely, but everyone wishes Bill a great trip. And we're going to have some wonderful cakes coming out. And anyone want to say a word or two?
I hope not.
Bill, you have contributed so much to this community, keeping it whole as a community. I can remember when you opened the pub.
We all remember opening the pub, yes. Do we do the 3,000 or not?
Yeah, and I have some of your early pictures.
Bob, you want to say something?
Yeah. Bob Chimchak.
Well, one of my distinctions with Bill is that I met Bill and my wife on the same night at the museum. It was a pretty influential night for me. Bill was at that moment going through a bit of a crisis, I would say.
Yeah.
He wasn't so thrilled about the way his photography career was going, mainly not making much money.
None.
None. Zero. And, oh, I'm sorry.
It's on, Bob. You have to just put it real close to your...
Okay.
There you go.
Is that better?
Yeah.
So I always loved Bill's work. I've been collecting photography for about 10 years, and I gave Bill the old pep talk. You know, I said, "You're a great photographer. You're one of the greatest photographers of all time.
Yes.
You've got to deal with being famous." So I decided, well, if you don't want to do it, I'll answer your letters and I'll help you out. And I tried at that moment to revive, I think I obviously have helped in doing that, revive Bill's interest in photography. And it's been really worth it. He's been a great pal, a great photographer. He's probably the best, certainly the best photographer I'll ever know, other than my wife.
Good. Well said.
Thank you, Bob. Please do engage in the entire show. We had the gift of going over to Libby McCoy. Libby, where are you? Libby McCoy's place, and where the archive is, and Kate and I were going through boxes, having a blast with Libby, reading letters, some of them a little bit scathing, some of them very funny, and all of them very poignant and wonderful. There's a letter from Ansel Adams down there you need to read that's just fantastic, and just enjoy all of it. We also got through a lot of old interviews and consolidated some of them on the wall so you can feel more about Bill's life, because the gift for all of us is, having known him all these years, is what a wonderful breath of a human being he is. And we all celebrate that, and we're very grateful that we were able to celebrate with Bill's 80th birthday here. Thank you all for coming. Please enjoy yourselves.
Congratulations. Thank you, thank you.
I wish you a happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
I met you about 10, 12 years ago, right after your second suburbia. I came down to your house. You signed a few books for me, and I've been watching you ever since. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Have you been?
I forgot to say,
Wow.
I'm most proud of my sons is what I forgot to say.
I'm just about to have a grandchild.
I need beer. Hey. Oh my God, I can't believe this is what I used to drink as a kid down the railroad tracks with the hobos. Tomato juice and beer and Worcestershire sauce. Something like that. I can't even open the cans anymore. Can you do it? Good. Ah. Thank God for beer.
Without beer, there
But
would be
these are
no
my favorites.
civilization.
These are my favorites. Drake, Sierra Nevada, Sam Adams, Black Butte. All these beers are great beers. There's no doubt about it. The thing I like about buying all these beers when they're left over, I can take them home and drink them for the next 3 months.
There won't be any leftovers.
You don't think there'll be any left?
Oh, there'll be some left.
Yeah, there'll be some left.
Hey, hey, no pictures, no pictures. Please, no pictures. I'd be embarrassed to be in People magazine.
You won't be. You will have.
Hi, Shorty. Deviled egg with a shrimp. Go straight to hell on this one.
Would you like to have a plate?
I don't need another wife, okay?
You can have a few maybe.
I don't need to be bossed around. If I want to be bossed around, I got 2 ex-wives. I can ask them to boss me around. Do I have to have a plate? Oh, the slideshow looks great. How did you do?
Did you have the impossible?
I didn't have the impossible.
You didn't, after all.
Drinking already.
Last year.
About a year ago, yeah.
What are you doing now?
Yeah, something when there's time to do it.
Oh my God, a great old T-shirt. Did you see the memorabilia downstairs? My mother's driver's license and everything.
I know.
It's all shot. It's really, really good. So go downstairs and check it out. I'll send. I'm 52,000 words into the memoir.
Oh, yeah.
I take the 49 Ford and go out and run stop signs, and they climb water towers.
Oh, yes.
Then I put in
That tall one there on McClellan
And
Field,
so
right?
when the FBI came to talk to me about you, I said, my mother's sitting in this country. He's been my friend all my life. I don't know anything about Keith. And I brought to try to be an astronaut and all that stuff. Then about the neighbors that had the mule, I wrote that story where the mule bucked me, tore off my ear, shooting my dad with a BB gun, all that
I
stuff.
know those stories.
When I get more
Did you
along-
put the wine that we made in there?
Yes, oh, that's an important chapter. No, that's, what I say is, you drink this first, and you wouldn't drink it.
No, it's awful.
So I
You
took it
couldn't
out
drink it.
in buckets and poured it out in the pasture, and made 2 big rings of dead grass. And when my dad asked me about it, I said, flying saucers. But I said we had to dig a hole and bury all the evidence and clean up the wash trays. And then when we
You
looked
couldn't
inside,
climb up though, they'd been etched.
Right, the zinc was gone. So we drank that white. We was in the hospital. It was rat poison with zinc in it. So go downstairs. Go downstairs with that. My mother's driver's license from 1936 is in
Oh, is that right?
the stuff she saved. So it's really good.
It's a nice display, but I came looking for you first.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm glad to see you.
Yeah, I'm around. Trump's going to get it. Don't worry about it.
Well, I do worry about Trump, that's for sure.
We're all worried.
There's the announcement.
Oh, I've got myself. No, but it was me.
Hey, you came out. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is the button that flips around.
Okay. Thank you.
Ready, Bob? Come on.
Uno, dos, tres.
2, take 2. Lean in.
Quit giving me orders. Always giving me orders. I know.
I said,
Hi,
sure.
darling. Come over here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you do. You're looking good.
'80s up there.
You know what? I guess.
You're all the food and the beer.
That's fine.
Where's the whiskey,
Are you
Bill?
hey,
I didn't bring it. Damn
Are
it.
you home for a while?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, let's play.
Happy birthday, youngster.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
It's good
yeah,
to see you and
yeah.
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. You
I
look
tell
great.
everybody, if anybody wants to buy me anything, go to Trader Joe's and buy me a little succulent for my garden. That's all I want. Yes!
Hey,
From Trader, has to
I
be
got
from
a
Trader
whole-
Joe's.
I got a-
Hopefully have to have one.
I've got about 20 succulents.
Oh, give me one for my birthday, I'll be happy. On my 80th birthday, I'll be in London. I'll be there for a Stilling conference. Then I'm going to go to South Africa, Australia, Tasmania, Hawaii, and home. I'm going to go around the world like I did when I was 21 years old. So I was going to try to repeat the route I went, so you do an email, Juba, Sudan. Okay, is there a bus service into Uganda? They email you back, the border is closed. So I cut Africa out, and I'm never going back to India. It was hell on this earth. So I'll just go to places that I don't need vaccinations.
There you go.
And they bring, then they make whiskey already and beer.
Who does that?
Ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
I'm David Bass. I've written 3 articles about, and I'm going for a 4th.
What did we do together?
We did one for Camera Works and then 2 for Margaret Wine. Very good memory.
Thank you for coming out.
My name is Gail.
Thanks, Jim.
Bill, I'll talk to you.
Jim, how old are you? How old are you? How old? Yeah. Whew. That's getting up there. Scares me. So you were born when? 1930? 23. Holy shit.
You're probably better. You're better. So without my spouse, yes. And I went on new cards. Yeah, right. Oh, yes.
Noise abatement laws now. It's right at sunset.
No, I think it's that made it even worse.
Here's my mother's driver's license, which I think is very interesting. It says on it, Ethel Lamont, Town Tavern, Route 3, Hayward. I never saw my mother take a drink of any alcohol in her life. Here I am as a 10-year-old. Here's my Social Security card guy to go into the Army or get drafted. My 53 Chevy. Me as a kid with the water sprinklers. And I had my own trapeze set. Oh, I have a teaching credential signed by Ronald Reagan. I have a lifetime preaching credential. They got rid of that credential because academic standards are too low. Here's my first book with Suburbia and mail about it. I kept every letter given to me, sent to me, 2,000 letters that people have written me over the years. And after Suburbia, I did Our Kind of People, Working, and Leisure. And I had any number of other books. I think I've done 7 books. And now I'm writing my memoirs, and I'm at about 50,000 words, 170 pages. Here they did a record cover album of Richie on the Big Wheel. And then here's one of my typical shooting scripts of all the things I wanted to do. Here's a list of people who rejected my books. Me and Ansel Adams. Oh my God, I met God. Here's a book I wrote on documentary photography. Then I eventually got into the brewing business, opened the first brew pub in the nation, Buffalo Bill's, and I was really well known for pumpkin ale. I did another very funny beer called Alimony Ale, the bitterest beer in America. And again, I've had a lot of press, and it's been a great experience to be
We don't want reading. And the readings for the engine pressure differential.
You're always welcome to be in the You're always welcome to be in
I would just say, fast. Cake everywhere.
Get your ideas back on show. Enough!